On this episode of Purposely Curious, we discuss some of the music industry's many controversies throughout the years, from singers not being credited for their vocals to music being sampled without permission. We also touch a bit on Aaliyah's music finally being released after 25 years and its own controversies. So join us as we discuss some old tunes and try to sing some of them for you. So get nice and cozy as this episode starts now. Hello, Leonie.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Leonie.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Enjoying this nice summer weather.
Would you say it's summer? Oh, is it warm for
No,
you?
it just kind of feels that way, right? It's like, come on. Or, it's like the rest of the world's covered in ice right now, the rest of the U.S., and then like we're over here like, oh, the sun's out. Hey, it's 75,
Really? I was freezing my butt off today.
That's what you get for living by the ocean.
I know.
No, you have a much nicer climate down there.
Sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
It's funny that you mentioned that. So this weekend I went to Sedona.
Nice.
And one of our tour guides, who's a really sweet guy, had mentioned when he asked us where we were from and talked about the weather, it just mentioned he hated the marine layer when he would come out here. And I was like, wow, okay.
You're like, that's okay, bro. I hate the monsoons when I come out here.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say that, but he was really nice. But I did feel like, oh, excuse me, But not everyone in LA, guys, gets the marine layer. It's literally the marine layer is just like, would you say it's fog, Leonie?
It's
just thick clouds.
It's thick clouds that come in from the ocean. They blow in from the ocean and they keep everything overcast and it looks dark and gloomy and nothing happens. Like it doesn't rain or anything, but it keeps the weather cool, which is nice because like where you live, the weather is pretty stable. Like you're not going to hit 100 degrees where you live, But,
yeah.
Like where I live, we can hit 120, on a crazy summer for sure, And it keeps your winters mellow too. So you're not going to hit 30 degrees either,
Yeah.
Because I'm closer to the mountains. I'm close to the foothill mountains.
Yes. So the further inland you are, the chances are you might have sunlight, but the farther out you go to the beach, there are, especially in the winter, springtime, you have what we call marine layer.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
but the cool thing for me is if I look in your direction during sunset hour, it's a spectacular sunset.
It's a nice view.
Yeah. Because the sun's bouncing off that marine layer and creating like all that bromine, that like beautiful, like brown, golden, orange, purple, light. So
yeah.
It's magical.
It is magical. And it's great for like photo shoots. If you're at, like, I was driving, I live near Palos Verdes. So I was going down the hill off the coast. I can't remember where I was going. But the marine layer was.
I know exactly what road. That's
the marine layer was kind of like just stopping over the coast.
Yeah.
And the view, I was like, wow, just to see the mountains and I'm over it and you see you're covered in sun, but it's just beautiful. But yeah, so it's been a little chillier here, but I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the summer. I feel like my legs are getting a little pale and they need some tanning.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think I sound less nasally this time around, right?
Yeah, you sound a little less nasally for sure, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
She sounds fine, right, guys? She sounded fine. You can go back and listen. She's okay. Yeah. It's all in her head.
I'm my biggest critic.
Literally, it was all in her head. Both the nasal and the voices. But she's totally fine. She's totally fine.
The voices?
Yeah.
I don't hear voices, Leon.
Oh, okay.
What are you insinuating here?
Denier.
So, on this episode, I wanted to touch on music, plagiarism. We know about Mini Vanilli. What would you call that when they don't use other people's voices?
Oh, wow.
It's not plagiarism. What would the term be?
I don't know. Imposters? I don't know. That's a really good one.
Yes. So, obviously, you guys always hear on the news someone's being sued for sampling a track or, the way they're singing sounds like my song. You always hear this, right, on the news all the time. But the reason I was kind of intrigued by this is because there was a song, and I saw this online, And I forwarded it to Leonie. And basically, it's this is one of the biggest hits of 1990. Do you remember the song where the girl goes, "Everybody dance now"?
Doop, 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 doop.
Yes, everybody knows that song because it gets, they have it in movies now, right?
Right.
Comedies, you name it, it's everywhere. So this song was called "Gonna Make You Sweat" by CNC Music Factory.
Yes. I remember those were like the big dance songs when I was in high school.
Yes, and it, like House and all that shit was in at the time.
Yeah.
I was a scrawny little girl that was obsessed with music, but I loved this song. I mean, I loved it, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's a song that everybody remembers, and the music video was one that I think a lot of people who were born there at the time remember, right?
Right.
So when I heard the news about what was going on behind this song, I was kind of appalled because I don't ever recall hearing this back then. But again, I was a scrawny little girl who didn't watch the news or anything. I just watched music videos, cartoons, you name it, and listen to music, right?
Right.
Well, it was discovered back then that the model singer in the music video, whose name is Miss Zelma Davis, it turns out she wasn't the voice behind those high notes of this #1 hit. So the song was already #1, making the rounds, and music videos was playing on replay, right? And it then came to light that she wasn't the singer.
Oh, man.
Do you remember this?
I don't remember it at the time. I think, I don't know what year this all surfaced, but I do remember it was sometime, I don't know how much after the song came out, but to me, I don't, like, it wasn't, a household name, so it wasn't a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now looking back when you're an adult and not in high school, like, you realize how big of a deal it is because it's intellectual property and it's somebody's talent and voice, you know what I'm saying? And then they it's stolen or they're not used or they're cut out of the record and they still use it anyways, so it sucks.
Yes. So this song came out in 1990 and the actual singer was Martha Wash.
Yeah.
CNC Music Factory wanted a strong voice for this track and they hired Martha Wash after, trying to hire other people, whatever. They, now Miss Martha Wash is actually, she already had her own hits. Have you heard of Miss Martha Wash?
No, I've not.
Okay, so Miss Martha Wash was a member of the band Weather Girls, who sang guess which song, Leonie?
Weather Girls. Not familiar. I'm sure once I hear the title,
don't look it up. I can hear your mouse clicking.
I'm not looking it up. No. I'm not looking it up. I don't cheat over here. I'm actually adjusting your volume, that's all.
Oh, am I too loud? Do you want me to lower it?
You're good.
Do you remember the song, It's Raining Men?
Okay.
Hallelujah, it's raining men.
I forgot to tell everybody this is going to be karaoke hour because we're going to have to sing every song on the list.
Oh my God, do you hate karaoke too?
I don't hate it. I just can't do it. I play guitar. I don't sing. I play guitar,
Yeah. Anyway, so.
But okay, funny about that song? I thought that was a Pointer Sisters song.
No, apparently by the Weather Girls.
Oh, damn. See?
And Miss Martha Wash was the voice behind that hit.
Wow. I never knew that. And I always thought it was the Pointer Sisters. That's wild.
Very wild. So, of course, here I'm learning this, right? I'm like, okay, so this song wasn't her voice. She's not on the music video, right?
Right.
And she also sang this. I mean, her voice is incredible, right? So when CNC Music Factory put this iconic song out, right?
Yeah.
Which is the Gonna Make You Sweat.
Right.
They didn't credit Martha Wash with the vocals when they released it. They then hired Zelma Davis to do the music video because Martha Wash did not have the body type they wanted for MTV airplay.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yes, and one of the members of CNC Music Factory actually is quoted on film saying that in an interview, that they would rather see Zelma on screen
right,
than Martha. So they weren't even all that I guess you can say they were kind of asses about it. Kind of justifying why they did it.
Right.
So for those of you guys who were not born in the 90s, oh, that sounds terrible. or don't remember the 90s because they were so little, MTV literally was where artists would put their music videos on because that's the only way they would make it big. MTV literally was 24 hours music videos. That's really where they came up to be who they were as a network. Like now they have reality TV shows and that's it, right?
Wow.
So they felt that Miss Martha Wash, who's more on, the curvier side, plus model type look, did not fit the aesthetic that MTV would get. Like, I guess the aesthetic for airplay that they wanted to get from MTV.
Right.
And so they replaced her with Mrs. Zelma. Martha Wash sued Sony Music and the band for fraud, deceptive packaging, and commercial appropriation. This battle went on for 4 years, Leonie.
That's a long time.
4 fucking years, yeah. Sony didn't think they were at fault. They were trying to just pin it on CNC Music Factory. But finally, they lost in the sense that they had to then go back and put a disclaimer on the music videos giving Martha Wash singing credit for that. But it took them 4 years to go to court for her to get credit. And by then, probably people only remember the Zelma Davis model on the music video.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm. Now, the crazy part was that this was the second time this had happened to Miss Martha Wash. She had sued the Italian house music group Black Box, who put her vocals on several songs, especially one that was called Everybody. Yeah. That was her too.
Yep.
Initially, they hired her to do, the demos, and they kept her voice without her consent. So she was just doing the demos, and the demos were just to be demos. And then they would use, another singer when the album came out. The point is they still used her voice from the demos on 4 or 5 different tracks and also did not credit her. So since she was relentless in going after these in the early 90s, kind of like what you said, right?
Yeah.
No one really, it's not like social media now. Someone can tweet and call you out and you have to give people credit now, right?
Right.
So she basically helped pave the way in the music industry for vocalists to get credit for their vocals, whether it's background, right?
Yeah.
Because before you wouldn't really get it.
Right.
So I thought this would be a really good thing to talk about in the music industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stories about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so this was the one that piqued my interest. So I thought I'd bring it forward. What do you have to share?
Oh, I got a whole dissertation on this. It's funny you mentioned that, how she wasn't used, You ever heard of a band called Blues Traveler?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, trust me, I guarantee you, if you hear the song Run Around, it's like, Maria, don't want to give you the run around. Yeah, something like that. And it came out 1993, I guess, but the album came out in 95. Anyways, these guys kind of censored themselves in a sense. Like their first video for this song, because this song was so huge on stations like Hit Rock here in Los Angeles and all the other rock stations across the country, that when it came time to put out a video, because nobody knew what the band looked like, they actually put this young hip band, like good looking guys, singing the song in the music video. And people were like, what? And nobody had any idea that was not the band. So I don't know if they had a personal image problem or if the record label did, or a combination of both, or they were just shy, because, good music is good music, right? Who cares what you look like,
Exactly.
But I think back then, it was like, the life and times of MTV, and everybody had to be beautiful and, and hot and young and crazy and wild, and hip and all that. So it's pretty crazy they did that.
And it seems like that really was more of a 80s, early 90s thing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. A lot of this happened in the late 80s, early 90s for sure.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about this, and I don't know how it came up, but I think somehow you mentioned the Radiohead song Creep. Remember? And I told you what happened with that?
Yes. Please share.
So a crazy story. I'm exploring 70s music like a few years ago, right? And there's a few bands I like in the 70s that are great because they inspired all the like the alternative 80s stuff, and now 90s and 2000s, so some of those rock bands, right? So there's a song by this band that I've never heard of before at the time called The Hollies. And the song is called, what is it called? It's called The Air That I Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sometime all I need is the air that I breathe and to love you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that song. It's in a movie called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a cute movie. It's sad, but it's fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with Keira Knightley and what's his name, Steve Carell. And so that song plays at the end, like when they're getting together, like, and then it also plays in the opening scene of Godzilla versus Kong, which came out last year, which is so weird. And I remember thinking, this song sounds like something I know so clear. And I realized those are the guitar chords, because I play guitar. I'm like, those are the guitar codes to Radiohead, to Creep. And it's weird because they're two different songs, but it's the same guitar chords. So I looked it up. I'm like, what's going on? Who are the Hollies? What's going on? And it turns out that, yes, the Hollies sued Radiohead when Creep came out. And that was, God, when was that? 1992. When Radiohead, when that record came out. And this is a song from 1974. Okay, that's how old this Holly song is. So Radiohead basically not only stole the guitar chords, but the progression and how it changes, so you could almost listen to them side by side and realize, wow, that's the Holly song, So what I didn't know is that they got sued, and luckily they settled quick, because that was their first record. And if they wouldn't have settled, their career would have ended, And to this day, if you're a Radiohead fan, that, for many, many, many years, they didn't like playing the hits. So everybody wanted to hear High and Dry and Radiohead and all those songs. I'm sorry, and The Creep, and, and they wouldn't play those hit songs for a long time in the 2000s. And I never understood why. And it's because they always hated playing those live, but they never said why. So they got sued. And, it's so wild. I'm like, that, I always ask the question, well, okay, what else is there, And I realized there's so much music out there that was sampled. Now the question is, was it stolen or was it sampled with permission, Like, for example, this little dancer singer from Oakland named MC Hammer. Remember the song I'm thinking of?
Can't touch it.
Yes, you can't touch this. Yep. Yep. Okay. That part exactly right there. Where is that song? Where is that from? What song?
I honestly thought it was from that song.
You millennial, you.
What? It's not?
No. There's a song by Rick James called Super Freakin'.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
That's 1981.
Wow.
But look at this. Look at 1981 and then look at MC Hammer 1990. Not that far away. It's only like 9 years away. So, but MC Hammer's song was super massive, huge hit, So,
yeah. Now, do you know that I'm a Kelly Clarkson fan?
No, that kind of surprises me. But
what?
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
So enlighten me. Tell me about her, because I don't know much about her except for American Idol, right?
I'm just shocked that you didn't think I was a fan of hers and that you were surprised.
No, it's just because you're into weird stuff. That's why. And I'm like, she's so mainstream.
Well, it's Kelly though. It's like you can't touch Kelly or Britney with me, because I will fight you.
So hey, I don't want to fight you. So is Kelly, if I remember correctly, is she American Idol winner?
She was the first American Idol winner.
That's
correct?
What I thought,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So she put out a song called Run, Run, Run with John Legend, which is a really good song. It's produced really, really well. And John Legend and Kelly Clarkson have good vocals. They can sing really good.
Yes.
When the song came out, there's a band called Tokyo Hotel who then tweeted that the song was basically a cover of their song. Kind of like, but the tweet sounded like a little bit like they were butthurt about it.
Right.
So Kelly Clarkson, being the person who, doesn't like controversy, she's very passive, like in the middle, right?
Right.
Was like, well, it sounds like there is two versions of the song. She felt the need to tweet about it because at this point, people were like, oh, they stole the song. People read and run with everything, right?
Right.
So apparently the band, even though they posted that salty tweet that they were basically saying, oh, her song is a cover of our song, blah, blah, blah. But they made it sound like they were the ones who wrote it.
Right.
At that point, people started ganging up on Kelly Clarkson online, the trolls, right?
Right.
So it turns out that they did not write it. According to the actual publishers and what's trademarked and everything, they're not accredited. Someone wrote it for them. They just happened to record it before. And the writers came. What do the writers do? They sell it and credit it. They sell it. They're trying to make money.
Of course.
So then now you have Kelly Clarkson on it. And, John Legend on this track. If you guys haven't heard it, it's a nice ballad. Anyways, she tweeted, "It's a bummer that I wasn't given all the information, that it looks like I'm ripping them off because I would never try to do that to any artist." I felt bad that she even had to tweet that because they didn't write the song. They were just being salty that a big star was probably getting more airplay, right?
Right.
John Legend then responded to her and said, "The history of music is filled with multiple artists singing versions of the same song. Congrats to the winners." He probably was like, girl, don't even worry about it. Don't even stress about it, right?
Yeah.
So she was never told that it was already sold to another band who had, I don't know. I just was like, come on, guys, get over yourselves. If anything, it should be a compliment.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
So there was that one.
Do you remember remember a song from 1981 by a little tiny band nobody's ever heard of before called Queen, and then this guy named David Bowie? Do you know what song I'm talking about?
Is it Another One Bites the Dust?
Good guess. It's around that same era.
So close.
But it's 1981. It's a song called Under Pressure.
Yes, that was it. Under Pressure.
Yes. Do you remember the guitar part?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun,
Do you know who stole that?
Vanilla Ice.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh man, that trivia. I'm winning.
Again, look at this. 1981, 1990. Mm-hmm. Like, really? Like 9 years, really? Like, it's like, here we go, another rap artist stealing from the rock world from just 9 years earlier.
But are they sampling and actually getting, paying for it? Because they do that now all the time. You hear the same beat twice a year with every new song. Well,
now you get caught automatically because computers catch it, but back then, I mean, I don't know, because any dispute or lawsuit is not disclosed. A lot of this stuff is not disclosed. There's no stories about it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them just say that it was sampled. A lot of them do say it was sampled, but then it was disputed. So obviously there was some kind of legal thing.
Yeah. And what do you remember of the most famous imposters, Milli Vanilli?
I remember that at the time they were the hottest thing. Like, everybody wanted to do those dance moves. I want to say, I could be wrong about the timeline, but I think it was around the same time as Paula Abdul, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
and Janet Jackson.
Yeah. So like former Laker girl Paula Abdul, when she was doing her Cold Hearted Snake, dance routines and all that, I think right around there is when Milli Vanilli blew up, and these guys were suave. Robin Fab, handsome guys, beautiful men, dance moves, and the song, singing, right? And mm-hmm. then I don't know how the story broke that it wasn't them, and I remember like that was wild. Like people went fucking crazy, like they're like, what? Like they didn't sing? What? Who sang? Like what? Because again, no internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until maybe you bought some magazine and saw People magazine and the pictures of the real guy, the stories of Rob and whatever. But it was such a huge hit. It was like the dance era of music right there,
Wasn't it like, oh, 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 I love you so? No?
Girl, it's true. Ooh, 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 I
I wonder
love
how many
you.
people stop listening already because they're hearing our singing.
My singing sucks. Yours is fantastic.
Oh. But how did they get caught?
I
I
don't.
do remember they did like a press conference.
I want to say somebody snitched them out
Yeah,
because
probably the
I
people
think,
who sang.
yeah, because I think they were paid. Because here's the thing, they were paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys were like, "Wait a minute, this my fucking song is on every station, every dance club, every high school dance, from here to to freaking Europe, you know."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's when they were like, "Whoa, no, 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 no." They're like, "We did that song, you know,"
Mm-hmm.
and I
And
don't
it's
know.
really unfortunate because I do remember, obviously when they had that the press conference was all over the news, right?
Right,
They basically said it wasn't us, blah, blah. It was very somber, but they were literally like the biggest shit at the time.
right,
And so to see the backlash and then see how they kind of fell off the face of the earth, they tried to start their singing career with themselves and had released stuff, but no one listened. They didn't sound the same. Then they split ways, I guess, the tension between the two of them.
right.
And it's just really sad
Yeah,
to look at how that really panned out. And, nothing came of them afterwards. But everyone kind of knows the name because they were so famous and to find out they were lip singing.
yeah. It's so wild, so
Mm-hmm.
wild. Because like I said, they were so huge, and you were like rooting for them, you know. Like if they were to play a Coliseum, if they were to have a dance show at the Coliseum or something, like you would go see them because it was that big, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they got shot down pretty quick,
Yeah, it's
which is
pretty
sad.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember a song from 1983 by a band called Spandau Ballet? The song is called True.
Mm-mm. No. Oh,
You
yeah.
know
Mm-hmm.
this much is true.
Yes.
So again, that's 1983, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now we go to 1991, okay? 8 years later, and we have a band, another huge, huge song by a band called PM Dawn. And the song is Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. Do you remember that song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another one of those huge songs of the early 90s that like every dance club was playing, every high school dance, you know? And those two brothers in PM Dawn, very smooth. They had a very smooth voice, you know? They were like, rapping, but in a very low tone voice and, very smooth. And it was a romantic song about memory about some girl, you know? And it was like a love song, you know? And then
Mm-hmm.
you have the sample of Spandau Ballet, and you're like, wow, that's awesome, you know? They were smart. They put the singer of Spandau Ballet in the music video.
Yeah.
Yeah, singer Tony Hadley, they put him in the music video because they were like, no, dude, you're part of this, because I figured they're like, we're not gonna get sued. Like, we'll pay your royalties. We don't care, And that was a huge song for them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like that weird 8-9 year gap between original and sampled music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
You remember Melomanes?
Not sure.
He had a song called Mentirosa.
No.
Oh my god, this is one of those songs you listen to because it's a fun song. And I don't remember where he's from. It might be Puerto Rico. Might be. I don't recall Melomanes, but I know this song was so huge. And this is 1989. Sorry, right before the 90s dance craze, club
Mm-hmm.
craze. And he samples Santana's song "Evil Ways" from 1969.
Mm.
So 20 years prior, and it's Santana's guitar sound, like so he used it for the whole the whole song of his song Mentirosa.
Mm.
And it's a funny song. It's like he's calling out his girlfriend on cheating or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. But I definitely know that now obviously the labels you can sample, beats, everything.
right.
Everything's up for sale.
It is.
And even your voice, if the label owns your voice. So you saw what happened with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Yes. But what I was going to get at before we continue with that is that the labels literally will own what you record. They can give you credit, but because they own like the masters,
right,
they can sell your voice. That small, 2 seconds of you singing
right,
can be then sampled for someone else who's willing to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely now it's like they can sample every aspect of the song, and they basically have the right to do that now.
Yeah.
That's why they say contracts are very important.
Oh yeah. You know what the new record contracts say?
No.
If you're a new artist, right? If you're a new DJ, you're the next whatever, Avicii, whatever, and you want to sign with Virgin Records, they're going to give you a contract, and it's going to say that they own the rights to the music, okay? Everything you come up with in this universe, in any planet in this universe, and any planet and universe yet to be discovered, and they own your likeness, and they own your name. They own, you're signing everything, because you know what? They're not going to make money off music. They're not going to make money off your music anymore. They're going to make money off you in a Christian Dior commercial or Versace commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna, that's where they're making their money today. So, and the crazy thing is when I saw that, any universe, okay, like they're protecting themselves. They're saying that if UFOs are real and we go to another universe, guess what? We still own your music over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but it's true. I've seen the actual contracts, and I'm like, man, that's wild.
Yeah. And that's why, the Taylor Swift stories, if you're wondering why she's re-recording and re-releasing, is because she doesn't have any ownership to her music.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and so how she figured out how to fix that is to re-record them. Because I think she owned the lyrics, stuff like that, like specifics, but her actual recordings, no. So then she's re-recorded them, so at least she can own her new recordings.
Right.
And her fan base is so on board with that they were like, we're downloading her new shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's that's how I found out about that stuff, just because the media covers it, and it's pretty... I know it's been, you hear stories when you and I were into rock music, right? Legend stuff. We see documentaries, and people are just, rich producers, and the artists are dirt poor.
Yeah.
You remember TLC?
Oh, yeah.
TLC was one of the biggest pop bands in the 90s and 2000s, right? They won Grammys, and backstage they basically said, we're broke. We're winning Grammys, we're selling records, but we don't get shit.
Because wasn't, is it Beyonce who was part of it? No, not Beyonce. Who am I thinking of?
T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili.
Who am I thinking of? No, because this similar story came up with Destiny's Child, right?
That I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Because she took off and is a huge star, and the rest of them are not, really. Once Beyonce, Beyonce became a superstar, and the rest of the girls did not.
And they're famous.
They're famous, but
yeah.
Didn't they reunite for the Super Bowl a couple of years ago or last year?
I believe so.
Yeah. And I remember the story, and I was just like, that's so crazy that as a group together, they were big, and then she took off even bigger, and the rest of the girls did not,
Yeah.
But, again, contracts, that's what happens. But
yeah, so it's unfortunate that the TLC band actually felt the need at that point to say, that was their way of fighting back, was we're accepting these Grammys, but we are broke because of our contracts. And, people then were like, holy shit, they were they were making millions of dollars, but they weren't seeing any of it.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Taylor Swift, you're not a Taylor Swift fan, right?
No. I mean, I don't dislike her. I may know one or two songs, but no, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan.
So I'm not, but I became one. I can tell you the exact date and night I became a fan, because I had to work with her for a show called Stand Up to Cancer, and it was the first annual one that we did here in LA at the Hollywood Bowl, and she was like the one of the headlining acts, you know. And I'll tell you, I learned something very quickly about her. If you take the entire record labels, the industry, like take Warner Brothers, Elektra, Atlantic, Virgin Records, Sony, Universal, right? And you put them all on one side, and then you have Big Machine, which is her label at the time, on the opposite side. That's how big she was. She had more influence than every record label combined. That's like, my head exploded when I found that out. I'm like, how is this possible, you know? And again, because her fan base is super loyal, you know, and they're true. They buy everything she puts out, you know. And you know, I don't know if her catalog is all great music, good music, you know, because I'm not a fan. I don't spend time listening to it, you know. But I do know she has hit song after hit song every record, you know. But when we did that event, I don't understand her, right? I don't understand what the catch is, you know. So I figured she's gonna do what every superstar does, is come out and do 3 songs and then wave goodbye and say thank you and walk off, right? And it's like, no, she played a full set. And I mean, why? It was like she made it her concert, you know what I'm saying? Like wardrobe changes, fireworks, like she came out and talked to the fans, and you know, and I was just like, okay, you know, this is not my genre of music, but I can say I'm a fan now, because she just gave everybody their money's worth, you know? Because all the previous bands that day were only playing a couple songs here and there. And she really did say, hey, if I'm going to come out, I really want to play something, you know? And it's not that it's because of the me, but more because like the fans want more than 3 songs, especially if you're paying $300 for a benefit ticket, you know? So, yeah. And that's when I'm like, wow, there's something. And then of course, like you said, well, what happened was, you know, she actually has the money, so she wanted to buy her catalog, right? Her music catalog. And the guy who owned it said no. And he sold it to this other guy. And I can't remember his name, but he was somebody that she hated, that she did not.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. A scooter or something, like some weird name like that, right? And so in other words, she was heartbroken, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to re-record everything. And because of the fan base, because of who they are, they're following everything all the new stuff, you know? So everything new she's doing, it's a hit again, all over again, you know?
Yeah.
Very few people can do that.
Yeah. Very few.
You know, very few. That's really impressive.
Now, do you remember when we did an episode of the shady industry, music industry, a year or more? Might have been more than that. We discussed Aaliyah, my idol growing up, her music. So we talked about how her uncle took off all the music from streaming. Right. You couldn't buy it, nothing.
Right.
The only album that was available was one that was produced by R. Kelly, because it was on another label.
Right.
Well, I told you that he started to sample some of her tracks, because remember, he owns it. When I told you, it seems like he probably needs money, right?
Right.
After 25 years, her music was finally released to all streaming platforms, and you can now buy them and purchase them. But they are also going to release a new album with her music.
Something like something we haven't heard before, like unreleased tracks?
Supposedly. The thing is, there's a lot of people who are upset about it because they already see the shady history, because it wasn't just Aaliyah's music that he was keeping hostage. There was JoJo, Tony Braxton, right? Genuine. That's right. Timbaland, you know, all their old stuff was held hostage. So now he's released everything. And so people figure that because he probably needed money.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So money's running dry for that, man. So that's, again, it's very important if you're going to be an artist, I guess, to make sure you don't just sign a contract, you know, because, you know, these artists were going to court trying to get their music released, and they couldn't because, you know, Black Round Records, who is owned by Aaliyah's uncle, was holding everything hostage.
That's crazy.
And he had a reputation of being an ass. I mean, he's still alive. I don't know why I'm talking about him like he's not, but he's been doing even interviews as well, trying to get sympathy because he knows that people, especially now with the internet, are doing their own homework.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember is it Mia or MIA?
Mia, yeah.
Mia,
I was
right?
in one of her music videos.
No way.
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't remember. I was in the 8th grade.
You were in 8th grade in 2007?
No. Before that. It was one of her first albums.
Early on, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
She
funny.
was rude.
Oh no.
Yeah, she was, bitch. Sorry.
No, it's funny because you remember her hit song, like she had like one hit song, right?
Mm-hmm. Like one or two.
Like the
and
one.
then she kept releasing stuff, but they wouldn't really.
Yeah, nobody cared much.
Mm-hmm.
But
what about her?
Was it 2007? Remember Paper Planes?
Oh, is that Ghetto Superstar?
No.
No.
I could sing it for you, but I don't have 1 ounce of clue as to what she's saying in that song.
Okay.
But trust me, you know this song. And again, the whole song, the beats and the rhythm and the guitar is The Clash. The punk band The Clash, Straight to Hell, 1982. And I'm like, wow, I because I remember when that song came out. Dang 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 dang. I don't remember what she's saying.
I'm thinking of Maya. I was not in Mia's music video. Got it.
So, but it is Mia, right? Or is it MIA? It's Mia,
MIA.
right? Yeah, MIA. So yeah, it's the Clash song, and I'm like, why do I know this? And and then of course you have like another one. You have like do you remember Tone Loc?
No.
Wild Thing. Or Funky Cole Medina. 1989, Tone Loc.
Yeah.
Rapper, but actually made his break on K-Rock, by the way. A little trivia there. It was a rock station that played him before anybody else. His song Wild Thing is Van Halen. It's Jamie's Crying from 1978. And it's like, that's so crazy. So I started to see a trend. That all these hit songs by these rap artists in the 90s and 80s, they all sampled rock people.
Yeah.
It's like it's so crazy. I'm like, why? What is it about these rock songs? That.
Well, it's just music people grew up together. Rock and hip hop go together.
Yeah.
It wasn't Aerosmith on a hip hop song with Run DMC.
Yeah, Walk This Way.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? I feel like it was, yes, they're completely different, but it's definitely genres that intermix. And so I think that was the beginning of both genres, mixing in the 80s. Yeah. So I think it was a natural evolution. And we see that now. You have rappers changing from rap to rock.
Oh, yeah. I think, doesn't Kanye, half his records of Kanye West, he does that? I mean...
Yeah, and really, honestly, sampling is what all it is now, whoever makes the beat, they're making money. My brother produces music, right? He's a ghostwriter. He's writing shit, selling shit. He'll sell the same beat, It's just, now it's every aspect of the song is owned by somebody.
It's so crazy.
And they're willing and able to do whatever they can with it.
I know, but and then I start to wonder, like, is there nothing original? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's stopping you from coming up with something original,
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily think, maybe I see it differently. Maybe, let's say I listen to your song, Leone, and I like that beat, right? And then I think of your voice, I don't know. And I'm like, I could see this in the beginning of the song, right? And so then I ask permission, can I sample this for my song? I think it's still creative, just in a different way.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's especially when you start to see like there's 22 writers on a song, and I'm like that's too much. Like
that's
what
the reality of it now,
I know,
right?
but it's it's like you have one guy in the rock world who wrote that song or four guys in the band or whatever, and then you have 22 producers in the rap world that, you know, sample it. I'm just like, whoa, why did it take that many people,
Well, the credits is not so much the sampling. They're crediting for the other instruments, the computer,
I know, but it's just silly,
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, don't let it stress you.
It's like no, I laugh at the whole thing. I think it's hilarious. There's even a meme, and I don't even want to repeat it because it's racist. But
Yeah,
there's a
don't.
meme. There's a meme when Beck won the Grammys, and I don't know when he won the Grammy for whatever record it was, like 6 years ago or 4 years ago or something. And then Kanye West was calling him out on it, and then somebody wrote a meme about it and says like the guy who takes 25 people to write one song is criticizing the guy who wrote everything himself in the whole album,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I kept that meme because it's something to remind me of something like, where is the creativity like in the music industry? Like, why? Like, is every idea already been put out there?
No, I don't think so. I think the creativity is in the non-mainstream music.
Right.
That's where it's at. And if you're only listening to mainstream music, you're just going to find sample after sample after sample after sample after sample. So
right. And
that's really what it comes down to.
No, but you're absolutely right. And that's exactly why I love listening to singer-songwriters, that from any part of the world that are doing something on their own that does not sound like, any other singer, or, does not sound like Taylor Swift, or does not sound like, Run DMC or whatever,
Yeah.
So those are the artists I tend to appreciate and gravitate forward. And it doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't matter what kind of music. I definitely appreciate like what they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. So, did you learn anything today?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, it's crazy that, like you mentioned, talking about CNC Music Factory and all that, and how people don't, back then people were getting screwed, and that was a landmark case that started to change things in the record business. And still people in the 80s and 90s were still sampling, and whether or not they got permission, or how does that saying go, like, don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness, or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, is that what everybody's doing? Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck them, we'll just deal with it in court later. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool, bro.
I mean, I think for some that's probably what they figure. Yeah.
And it's wild. I didn't know that today any singer-songwriter you can cover a song. You can cover any hit song by anybody. You can cover Kanye West or Mary J. Blige, whatever, and you could put it out on iTunes for sale.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to get a cut. But you can still make money off that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I just automatically assumed that, the original artist is going to get that because you're using their copyrighted material, their song, their lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
But.
And I think too, a lot of artists are now more open to actually allowing people to cover their music.
Right.
Because, they're making less money from streaming in some cases.
Of course.
So any money and royalties that comes in is they're happy to receive, you know, because not everyone's a Beyonce, right?
Right.
Or Taylor Swift.
And again, like, have you ever heard of the Hollies before, mentioning that it was the Radiohead Creep, it's like, probably not. A lot of people don't know who they are, because they're a 70s obscure band, but now a band like Radiohead, and if that gets out into this mainstream, that's like, oh, they stole their music, copied or whatever, then it's like, oh, who are these guys? So it gives them, a little career resurrection, Like, I don't. There was a really cool story last week. I don't know if you saw it. That I wish I could have find. I wish I would have sent you the headline. The headline was, the top 10 songs on iTunes right now are hits from the 50s and 60s or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the question was on the headline, what year is this? So there's something about what was going on recently that was triggering people to listen to all these old songs from the 60s and 50s, and those became the number one hits. for that week or whatever. And it's like, why? It's like,
yeah.
But it like you said, it happens. Did you read the article? I'm sorry?
Did you read the article?
I didn't. No, I didn't. That's the thing.
Okay, so I'll tell you why.
What was it?
So everything's going viral now, and people are discovering songs. There's trends that use songs, TV shows, but mostly I think it's just things people are like, oh, I like this song, and they see it on, like TikToks and Reels. There's a lot of people putting articles out on how much TikTok has weight on the music now. Like people start downloading just off of TikToks, and they're like 40, 50-year-old songs.
That's crazy. So they're using songs to make their silly dance videos on TikTok, and those are the songs that people are checking out. Like they're saying like, oh, who is this? And
yeah, but see, not everyone. So TikTok, when it started, was dancing stuff. Now it's not that anymore. People are just posting videos, funny shit, whatever. But they use, like, they can do videos on cooking, or they can do videos on editing. They'll do everything on there, and they pick music to go. Like, I've found so many new artists because of TikTok and videos that my friends have sent me and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of articles written right now by news organizations that are starting to take notice at how TikTok is influencing the music industry right now.
That's like, so crazy.
Really big. Doja Cat, who's huge right now, really used TikTok to her advantage, and she blown up after.
That's crazy.
She was using it 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But yes, I'm gonna forward you those articles because I just saw them this week, and I was like, "Well, it's about time people are actually noticing this." Because everyone who's on TikTok would probably be like, "Yeah, we could have told you that."
That's funny. It's funny because I like anybody who posts on my Instagram feed from TikTok. It's all fucking silly dance, and I'm like, okay, stupid swipe, stupid swipes.
Yes, but listen,
like I only get the interesting stuff from you, like the stuff you sent me, the dog videos.
You said it. The people who post TikTok reels on Instagram, whatever they're posting was in last year on TikTok.
Oh, damn.
Yes, it's everyone will tell you that is the fact. Or like they'll send you, on Instagram, they'll send you a TikTok that you were laughing at a year ago. And I have friends that do that to me.
That's weird.
Mary C, I'm calling you out.
Just calling you out.
I know you listen, bitch.
Don't be mean. Why are you so mean, girl?
Because she's mean to me too. She punks me around, or she tries. But I'm the original.
You're the OG.
Yes.
Because you're older. Because you're older, right?
Yeah, and yes.
And yes.
I didn't have an argument.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
But anyways, this was enjoyable. Thank you for joining me again, Leonie.
No, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah. Leonie and I love music stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do more of these here and there. But I thought it was very interesting. So remember, guys, if you listen to that song that we talked about, that the girl sings "Everybody Dance Now, Gonna Make You Sweat" by the CNC Music Factory, that was Miss Martha Wash. She did not get credited for her vocals, and so I want you guys to always remember that when you hear that song in a movie, in a club, wherever. Martha Wash. Okay? All right, Leonie. I hope you have a good night.
You too, Mary.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. That was episode 83 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on most podcast platforms. And follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.